to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making a beautiful charcuterie board for a party. I'm going to be using a large size board that I purchased at Target, and we're going to be using an assortment of different cheeses, fruits, some chocolates, some nuts, and some salami. So let's get started. Okay, before I start, I like to get everything that I'm going to be using out and within arm's reach. I go ahead and I clean any of the fresh produce that I'll be using and go ahead and start having it drain on towels. I go ahead and open up the little bags of salami. I get the cheese open, especially the ones that have these really hard wrappers to get open. I go ahead and get it open and ready to go so that everything is right here where I need it, so that the creative part of this can just be allowed to go without any interruptions. So this is the board from Target. It's in their Magnolia line. It's the perfect size board for a party. So let's go ahead and get started. I like to start with my cheese. Okay, we're gonna start with our cheese. This first one that we're doing, I actually got at Kirkland at Costco. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon cheese. It's really delicious. They've sampled it out a few times. My husband is absolutely crazy about it. So we're gonna start by getting this one all sliced up. I need a knife. I got everything but the knife. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm gonna cut the top of the rind off and the bottom, but I'm gonna leave the edge for presentation purposes. Okay, so we are gonna do this, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I wanna do it. This cheese is one, it honestly kind of crumbles a little bit easily. So I'm not gonna try and do long slices of it. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna cut this in half, because I know that there are not enough people that are gonna be at this party to eat this whole wedge of cheese along with everything else. So I'm gonna just set it out like this with a cheese knife so people can slice off their own, because it just crumbles. And so trying to do a nice presentation of it is just not gonna work. So we're just gonna set it here on the cheese board for now, and I might move that later. Okay, so I'm done with this one. I'll wrap up this and put it away when we're done here. Okay, this next one, I took the packaging off and promptly threw it away. So I can't tell you what this is, but it is one that slices nicely. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the other. We're gonna remove the top and the bottom, and then we're gonna go ahead and start slicing. And just to make it easier to handle, I'm gonna go ahead and slice this one in half. I will be laying out all of this. Usually I like to do a manchego because of the way that it slices and the color of the rind. Arranging it on the board ends up looking really, really nice, but they had this one instead. And this one has a really delicious nutty flavor, and it still has that dark rind that I'm looking for. And you'll be able to see in just a minute why I really want that rind. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be cutting slices going this way. And I'm gonna make them a little bit less than a quarter of an inch thick, probably closer to 1/8 of an inch, but I am not gonna be measuring them. So this is what it looks like. This is how thick it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this whole wedge in exactly that same way, and then I will show you how we're going to arrange it. This last piece got a little bit too thick, but we're gonna try and work with it anyway. I just cut this wrong. I cut it off the wrong side. I'm just gonna set this aside. My kids will eat it. last piece is always a little bit thicker, but we're just gonna work with it. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to lay this out. I'm gonna start with my bigger pieces. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 slices and let me move the camera some so you can see. Actually, I'll do it this way. Okay, so you're angling them like this. Okay, and then we're gonna take another one. And angle it like this, and then take one and go like this. So it creates a really beautiful pattern. Just back and forth, back and forth. See how pretty that is? Okay, now we're going to start using some of these smaller pieces. That one wants to fall, so I'm going to tilt it the opposite way a little bit. And once I get it on the board, it will all be fine. Okay, so that's the last piece. Now I'm gonna pick it up all together and just go ahead and move it to the charcuterie board. Actually, I'm gonna put it right across from that other one. I like that spot better. Okay, so there's this and there's that, and let me show you from the other angle. See how beautiful that looks? So that's 2 cheeses out of the way. Now the only other cheese that I have left is this log of brie. I also get this one from Costco. They have a really good price on a 2-pack. Okay, I'm gonna take this out and just kind of smooth out the lumps just a little bit. Okay, and we're gonna lay this one. I like to have my cheeses in a triangle, so we're just gonna lay this one there. Let me wipe my hands and then I'll show you where. Okay, now that we have all of the cheeses done, I am going to show you where we place the fruit. I like to do cheese first, then fruit, because those are really usually the two biggest items that we place. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is the grapes. Now, I love the flavor of red grapes. However, usually when I make a charcuterie board, I'm using salami, which is red. And so I like to have different colors and combinations on my board. So for that reason, I choose green grapes instead of red for the board. Now, I have this gorgeous bunch, but this makes it hard for the person eating, because then you have to either pick off individual grapes or try to wiggle one off. So I like to go ahead and cut the grapes in little clusters that are about 4 to 5 grapes per cluster. It just makes it easier when it's time to serve. So I use my kitchen shears and then I start snipping. And while I'm doing that, I remove any grapes that are not perfect. So that's a nice little cluster. That one actually has 7 grapes on it, but that's just about right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start placing my grapes over here. And they've already been washed and dried really well. Try to get as much moisture off of the produce as possible, so that it doesn't make anything soggy. Now I am trying to keep these kind of contained into one area. I don't want it taking up too much of the space of the board, so that's why I'm starting to pile them up. Okay, that looks really pretty. So there's the grapes, and now we are going to do the raspberries. I have raspberries, which are red, and then I also have these slices, the larger slices of salami I'm going to make a salami river with, and then these little bite-sized salamis. So that's 3 red things. So I want to have my reds kind of in a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my gorgeous red raspberries right here. I'm going to bunch them up a little bit more than that. Don't want them all the way to the edge because I'm going to have something else sprinkled in right over here. So I'm going to put them about right there. And it looks really, really pretty against the cheese. Okay, so there's my fruit. Now, before I get any further, I'm going to put my olives in this really beautiful olive wood bowl, and I'm going to put that right in the center. Okay, so there's the olives, and the raspberries, and the grapes. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a salami river. This is one of those show-stopping items. Okay, let me move this back out of the way, and I'll get my cutting board back over here. So for a salami river, you need salami that is about this size, but it can be bigger. And you're gonna need toothpicks. So what we do is you take your salami, you fold it in half once, and you fold it in half again. So you have this little triangle. Then you stick your toothpick through close to the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna do that 2 more times for this one toothpick. Try to stick it through at approximately the same spot each time so that it stays uniform. Okay, so what we have here now is a perfect portion of salami. So someone can just pick this up, and it's already 3 pieces, which is a great portion. But after I make a few more of these, I'll show you how we can use it to kind of weave around, make a river, if you will. Okay, so let's do a few more of these, and then I'll show you how to start constructing the river. And it's not a huge board, so it's only going to be so much of a river, maybe more of a creek. I've made huge 8-foot grazing tables, charcuterie grazing tables for people before, and had multiple rivers going all the way up and down the 8-foot table. Now that is a river. This is really just more of a stream or a creek. Maybe just a puddle. Okay, we have all the salami we need now. So let me show you how to put it all together. So what we're gonna do is, I wanna start over here by the grapes. So I'm just gonna start laying this and just kind of stick it together. You see how it looks continuous now? And what I'm gonna do with this one, I have decided, is I'm gonna use it kind of as a border here in between, kind of make a triangle out of it. Let's see, maybe we'll go like this. A lot of this is just finessing it once you get started. I'm gonna use one more. So, because I do like it kind of climbing up the edge here. Okay, so there's one triangle, and then I'm gonna do another one over here. Let me turn it so you can see. And now, can you see here where the toothpick is sticking out? And then over here too? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna adjust the salami, pull it closer to the end so it's not quite so noticeable, because the toothpick is not part of the beauty here. So I'm just gonna adjust that so that it covers that better. Okay, and then I have one little guy left over, so I'm just gonna tuck him. There we go. Okay, that's lovely. Let me give you a different camera angle. Okay, so I did this one here, and then I did this one over here. And then we're gonna be filling both of those areas, probably with nuts. I don't wanna put chocolate in there because chocolate plus meat is kind of ew. So that's what we're gonna do here. But first, let's put our little bite-sized salamis on the board. So I have this little pack of bite-sized dry salami. They're about the size of a quarter. It's just a nice, it's thicker, and it's just a little bit different from the other. I like to use both. So we're gonna put these over here. And we're just gonna kind of let it drape in. But not all the way, because we're gonna be putting some more things there as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put these dark chocolate sea salt caramels. I get these at Aldi. They're really beautiful and they're delicious. So we're gonna put those with the raspberries because chocolate plus raspberry is a delicious combo, unlike chocolate and salami. So I'm just gonna lay these down. And just kind of stack them. I don't want to dump them because I don't want to dump the salt everywhere. And doesn't that look nice? Yes, it does. Okay, now we are going to add in some nuts. So I have pistachios, and I have about half a bag of deluxe cashews. I had a full bag, but these have been here for a few days now, and so people get into them. So I'm gonna go ahead and create these. We're gonna put them in both of the salami triangles. If I had had a full bag of cashews, I would have put cashews in one and pistachios in the other, but I don't, so we're gonna work with what we have. Now, the other thing that I have that's really neat, I found this jelly assortment at Trader Joe's. I don't know if they still have it, but it's 4 different spreads. So I'm actually gonna put 2 of those over here, and it'll pair really, really nicely with, well, it'll pair really nicely with all of the cheeses, but especially with the chev, it'll just be so good. So I'm gonna open this up and put 2 of those there, and once I get to the party, of course, I will go ahead and open it there. So I'm gonna put the fig and honey, and then I'm also going to do the cherry and rosemary. I think those 2 combinations sound really, really nice. So those are gonna go there. And then now I'm gonna use these cashews to sprinkle and fill in little holes. So I have a little bit of a hole here in front of this cheese. So I'm gonna sprinkle some there. And I'm gonna sprinkle some around these jars of jam just to fill in the little holes. Okay, so now the board is totally done. Let me give you a better camera angle. Look at that. Doesn't it look beautiful? Now, one thing that I could do that would be really, really beautiful once I get to the party is I could open up one of these jams and just go ahead and pour it over the chev. Or I could take some honey and I could drizzle it over the chev, or even take some dried herbs. But I'm leaving it plain so that everybody can decide if they want their chev to be savory or sweet. But you may be wondering, where are the crackers? Well, when I'm using a board this size for a party, I like to plate the crackers up separately, because one of the reasons is the crackers get kind of not necessarily soggy, but a little bit they're just not as crispy if you put them on the board, because there's moisture in the salami, there's moisture in the cheese, there's moisture in the fruit, and so a lot of times the crackers will absorb that. So the only time now where I really will put the crackers on the platter is if I'm doing a really, really, really large platter, and I do have one that's big enough to do that, or if I'm doing a grazing table. If I'm doing a grazing table, then I absolutely put the crackers on the table. But for now, they're just gonna be on the side. So that is what it looks like. Really excited. I'm sure it's gonna be a hit, and it is visually stunning, which is really like half the battle with charcuterie. So all I need to do now is get my little cheese knives out, a little fork for the olives, and it will be ready to go.